Okay, similar to IP4 and 6. As I explained to you us before, the sizes differs, and in this IP6, there is more enhancement of mobility, security, there's more security in it. Address formatting is different and better, and all of that. So these are comparisons. When you look at this place, um, fields that are retained from IP4 to IP6, you see this line. The one that are not retained, the name changed and all of the new thing IP. So that is what we can actually see here. Version was retained at this particular field, and fields that are not retained, this we are not retained IP6, and things that we are changed, protocols we are changed from here and all of that. So new things, there's a full label and all of that. But that's by the way, anyway. So we have two types of IP address. We always have two types of IP address, and it's always static and dynamic. It's always static and dynamic. Okay, maybe five. We have okay, yeah. We have static IP assignment. Two ways you can actually assign IP addresses. We have static assigning. We have dynamic assigning. And under static, we have two types. We have manual and we have EUI-64. Now, under dynamic, we have stateless auto configuration, uh, stateless address auto configuration. That's what it's supposed to be because it is Slack. Slack. So it is stateless address auto configuration. There is address here. We call it Slack. I will now have stateful DHCP. Of course, you know that when you talk about static IP address, it is manual way of assigning IP address. When you talk about dynamic way, it is when you allow a protocol to run it. So in terms of allowing a protocol to run, to assign IP address, we have two methods under IP version 6. We have Slack, stateless address auto configuration. We also have a stateful DHCP. Now for Slack, it's stateless, meaning that or just, it's not just what it means, but it's the way IP address being assigned. Normally, all routers, if I have router and I have a network and I have systems connected, under default, as soon as I activate my router, this router has the capability of giving out IP addresses, that's IP6 addresses. Anybody that needs IP address can actually get from the router without me configuring anything. And that method is this Slack. And the router does not keep record of who has IP address. It doesn't keep record of IP addresses it has given out. Unlike this one that keeps record, if you configure DHCP on this router, as in you really configured it, or you have you configure it as DHCP relay. For instance, you have a server that you relay it with. That kind of IP address, when these people get IP address of such kind, it is referred to as stateful DHCP. Why is it stateful DHCP? Is that there's a record. When this server gives IP address or router gives IP address, if it is configured with DHCP, whenever you give an IP address, it keeps record of it. So it's not going to duplicate it to another person. But for Slack, there is no record. So how then do hosts or clients ensure that there is no duplicate? It is by this concept that duplicate address detection. Some books will say duplicate address discovery. Now, how does host go on with this concept, there is this protocol called NDP. NDP, okay, you have NDP. You have NDP NS, NDP NA, NDP RS, NDP RA. Now, NDP, what ARP is to IP4 is what NDP is to IP6. IP6. This for IP4. ARP is a protocol that helps to gather MAC addresses from IP addresses of hosts. This is how the way we treated it before, when I was saying when switch wants to fill in its ARP table. So when a system demands for MAC address, it's ARP protocol that carries the message. It carries the requirement for the message to go and fetch whosoever that has such IP MAC address with a particular IP address. The same thing with NDP. NDP has NDP, NS, NA, and all of that, and more of that. Now, NDP NS is a neighbor discovery protocol. And NS, N means neighbor, S means solicitation, A means advert, R means router. So when I have this, NDP NS is a message with NDP requirements that is being sent to a host. Of course, when I mention of hosts, I should know what I mean by hosts, like computers and all of that have IP addresses. So if there's any message with NDP header going to a host, a request, it is NDP NS. Now, when a host responds, it is with the NDP neighbor advert. Now, RS is the same thing for router. This was router solicitation. Any request that is going to the router is RS, router solicitation. But when router responds, it is RA. Then, when this system, for instance, this C2 requests for IP address under Slack, and router gives it IP address. Of course, what happens is NDP RS, that's what this guy will send. Router will not respond with NDP RA. And that. So it doesn't mean that router can actually send NDP NS. So as far as it's going to a host, it is neighbor solicitation. It can come from anywhere. It can come from another host or another router. So you just need to know neighbor and N and R and what is S and A. Then when C2 has already gotten the IP address through Slack, it will try to be sure that nobody has the same IP address. It will now go through this concept that duplicate address detection or discovery. What you do is that you're going to ask everybody on this network with this message, asking, is there anybody that has the same IP address that I have? So if there's anyone that has it, the person will now reply with this, neighbor adverts. But there's very low probability that there will be a duplicate. It's very, very, very low. So, but if it happens, but we humans make this provision in case it happens, but it can never happen, kind of. I read a material that says that for it to happen, the possibility of it happening is like the possibility of predicting the scores of all the matches of all clubs in the world. You know, all the countries of the world like UK, Spain, Italy, Germany, all their clubs matches. If Man City is going to play with Man U, Chelsea is going to play with Arsenal, the correct score, if they are going to play 2-1, 2-2, if you can predict the correct score of all the clubs in the whole world and you get it rightly, that is the possibility. As that's the way it is to relate with this possibility of having a duplicate address. So it's very, the possibility of it is very, very low. So that's that for dynamic IP address assignment, SLAAC and stateful DHCP. Then for static assignment, it's just normal manual way of assigning IP address. You can assign it manually or using this method. Then I'll talk about this now. For your CCNA, Cisco majors in the use of IPC address in routers. That's where they actually focused on what you can use to do, what you can use it to do on the router. Okay, so let's start by configuring manual assignment. By the time we finish that, I will talk about types of IP addresses, IPv6 addresses. By the time we finish talk about that, so let's start. And if you want to configure something like this kind of network as it is, of course, you have to give IP address to your gateway. And before it will now give IP addresses to their respective stuff. So this is the command to give IP address to your gateway. We always say IP version 6 address. Though this one is for EUI. I'll talk about this later on, not now. So let me get the one that is better. Okay, now on interface, see the where I give IP address. Of course, you know that this IP address was abbreviated. You can actually take it back to where it was. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means this double column are 3 fields of zeros. So that's just that. So this is the way to give IP address to your router. So let's start. Let's just do a small configuration. This is my router. And this is my switch. This is my switch. And this are my hosts. So I'm connecting this to the gateway. I use this to fast. Okay. So this is my network. For instance, here I can call this one to be network 2001. For my own sanity, I'm using 1, 1, 1, 1, 64. Let me clarify this. Maybe I've never done that before. Where can I use this? Okay, I can decide to do 2001. I can call 1 here, 1 here. These 3 are my global routing prefix. This one might be my subnet. Here, if I do something like this, maybe 1/64. I hope you understand what that means. This is my global routing prefix. This is my subnet. From here to here is my interface ID. So my interface ID is actually 00000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000. So this is what it is because I abbreviated it. They are up to how many successive fields of zeros? 3. And of course, this particular one, leading zeros are optional. So that is that. Therefore, you to have understanding. And also, yes, I want to make clarification of some things so that to be easier for us to flow. Okay, I better write it here. Now, if I do 2001, 1, 1, 1, double colon, double colon. If I do /64, if you look at this place, it is from here to here is my global routing prefix. This is my subnet. All these ones are all zeros. So my interface ID, they are all zeros. What does that tell us? That interface ID also is a network address. So this is a network address, whereas this one is IP address, because there is something inside interface ID. So if I specify this kind of thing now, it is a network address. So I want to clarify that. If you don't understand what I mean, this is what it is. This thing is actually 2001, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, /64. So this is actually this. Since my interface ID, they are all zeros, it tells me that this is a network address. You remember what we did in IP4? When your host ID, they are all zeros, it is a network address. The same thing with this particular one too. So this is a network address, not an IP address. Whereas this one is an IP address. So I need to be clarified that. So then that is why I'm putting this as a network. This is my network address of this side. Then this side, I can decide to use 2001. Okay, set to, for my own sanity, to /64. This is my network address of this side, network address of this side. So these are different network address. So they can, then I can come to the router, this interface, which is G000. I'm going to router, say no, then enable configure terminal. Then of course, let me enable it first. IP version 6 unicast routing. So I'm enabling this router for IP version 6. So my interface is G000. So interface G000, and then IP version 6 address. I'm giving it 2001, 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm using, that's my first valid IP address. So that's why I now use it as 1. So on the subnet prefix length 64. That's no shutdown. This up. So I now check this interface. This one is G001. I'll go to zit. I will go to G001. I'll give it IP address as 2, 2, 2. First valid IP address is 21/64. My default, I say no shutdown. It's up. Normally, as it is as a router, it can give this IP address. So if I come here, I want to get IP address. I got IP address. I use auto config. You see that they have IP address automatically. If I come here, that's auto config automatically. They have IP address like that. Automatically, this one. That's that. And it just gave them IP addresses and their gateway. I'll talk about this. This is a link local address. I'll talk about this. These are types of IP address. This is a link local address. I'll talk about it and why router gave this. Instead of, I'll talk about this later. So this one too, auto config, you see, all of that. Auto config, you see the prefix length and all of that. Supposed to stop this. So that is that. So you can actually, I can actually ping. If I'm pinging, use close envelope to test connectivity. If I click here, I see destination IP address, but source didn't appear, and I don't have time to cram this. So I copy this one. Okay. So I copy this particular one. If I click here, and that one will show. So this guy should be pinging. This guy should be pinging this by pasting it. Put a 2 here, put 4 here. It's successful. So, but that is for Slack. Now, what if I want to manually put IP address myself? I want to manually put IP address myself. I can decide to do, I come here, IP address, static. Since I know my network is a, oh, that's not my network. 2001, 1, 1, 1. For my own sanity, I do that. I said 2 because gateway have taken the first one. So prefix length is 64. My gateway is 1. So this one is static IP address. And let me do it for this particular one. Static. I've given 2 before, so this one should take 3. We have 64 prefix length, gateway 1. I'll leave only that one. So come back here. Static 2001 2, because my network is 222. Sorry. My network is 2222, so I'm using 2, 2, 2. Let me use 2 here. Copy. This 64. I'm placing my gateway. My gateway is 1. I'll do this one. Static. This one can take 3. Prefix length 64. It with that. So if I want to ping this one from here, I just go to command prompt and say ping paste 222. That means this is 222 here. So if I ping it, is responding. Or I can still use the same thing we used to do before. Here to here, this one is not appearing. Okay. Source. Let me use this guy. This destination appeared. Source is this. Put any number like 2 and 2. Great, is successful. And all of that.
So I'm lost. So with this, your PGU that you're using, how are you doing it, sir?
Is it the pinging?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And also, the pinging was successful without routing. Okay. There's no need for routing here.
Yeah, no need for routing.
Oh, it's just one router.
Yeah, they are on the same directly connected to router, so there's no need for routing. There's no other router. So pinging, this is IP address of this. If you look at the IP address, it is 2001.1.1.1.2. This one is 2001.2.2.2.2.2. So if I stay here, pinging, I use command prompt. That's what is supposed to be used in real life. Now let me use this particular one. So command prompt, I am on PC 0. If I say ping, I'm trying to ping, this is system here. I want to ping this one, which is 2001.2.2.2.2. So I stay here and say ping 2001.2.2.2.2. If I press enter to ping, if I have 2.2.2.2.3, if I ping it, it will still respond. If I want to ping their gateway 1, to still respond. That's the normal way we test connectivity, but it still wants normal way we used to do it before using envelope, but in IP6 we use open envelope. So if I select the envelope, if I click here, the source IP address is supposed to register the source IP address here, but it does not. But if I click destination will get registered. So, and I don't, if I click here now, that's change. If I click here, change, and all of that. So instead of me memorizing this whole thing, I can copy the whole thing. I'm copying it. So now I don't know a particular IP address. So I can make here my destination. And this one will be the one that will ping it, the source. I think this is the system that is pinging it. So sequence number, put any number of your choice. I used to use 2 or 4, any one. You now click on create PDU. If I click it, it says successful. Or you can just type normal pinging. Normal pinging that we did. We did here. You can stay any place and ping actually. You can stay here and ping 2001 V1 1 1. I have 2. So you see it's responding. This is the normal way we ping. And IP6 is supposed to be ping 6. I don't know why. If you are pinging IP6, it's not just ping 6, but it doesn't recognize it. Even in real life, it's still ping, but our material is saying that it's ping 6. Just as when we we created IP address. Instead of using IP, we say IPv6. So for some reason, I don't know why it is not taking ping 6, even if you use P version 6 to see invalid, but it's supposed to be ping 6. And try this in real life, it's still not. In real life, they are still taking ping and everything works too. So, but your material, like your books, they are saying it's ping 6, so, but it doesn't work. So that is how to set up IP address, IP version 6 address, and setting it up, and also configuration. So, if you have any questions, you can ask your question before you now start talking about other things. Okay, so if we don't have any question, I've already showed us how to configure. So what we did was configuration of IP address manually. So we did manual. Now, how about IU-64 method? We don't have time, might not really be faithful with us because we are running short of time. We have like 3 minutes. IU, if you want to deal with that IU, we have to just wait until this thing comes up. So I'll come back to IU, but for now, let's talk about types of IP address. One, we have global. Maybe I'll use another space where we have so much space. Let me look for where we have space. Okay. So IU, types of IP address, we have global unicast address, global unicast address, unicast address. Global unicast address is any IP6 address that starts with 2 or 3. In fact, we've not even started using 3. We've not even started using 3, but just these 2. Of course, you cannot even resource the 2 the way it is being planned, because as I said before that, RIR, I've already cleaned that stuff for. Sorry, I'm coming. RIR starts with 2000. A lot of Africa 2001. Africa or 2001. So that is the IP address you need to access internet. That's global unicast address. Now, if you have any plan not to have access to internet, you use a unique local address. Unique local address. Unique local address is don't like writing these things. Is IP address that starts with FD. This is address that you use. You set up maybe for practical or for experiment, or in any place you know that you don't have any business with internet. You don't want to go through internet. We use unicast local address. This is it here. FD. This is FD 000 and all of that. And also we have other types too. We have link local. That's the one I want to. This one will take time to explain. Link local address. Link local runs from FE 8 0 that slash 10 to F E